Hey friends and family, today's video is probably a repeat video. One of my subscribers, Alexandra, I think it was, reminded me of the Miller, the German tarot, the Miller from 1780, when I recently did Hess and another Austrian or German deck. And I forgot to include this one in that collection. So I probably already did a Miller, but I'm going to do it again anyway because it's probably buried so deep that no one will ever find it unless they're really, really looking for it. And this way I can show you the Miller because it'll just pop right up in recent videos. This deck called Miller is German from 1780, and it's a Besançon. And I will get right to it. So in the other video that I did with the Hess and I think two other videos, it was just two other decks rather. It was just to see what they had in common. And we discovered that the Hess had traits of TDM1, TDM2. Now there's only 30 years separating these two decks. One is in the style or fashion of Marseille. The other one, this one, is in the style of Besançon. But it still will be interesting to see what similarities between 1 and 2 we can find. So here we have Les Faux. Now this one is a very juicy deck. Juicy in the sense that the colors are rich, you know. Almost abstract, as in the case of the Lando, which I also compared to the Hess. Now here we have Juno, right, in place of the female pope. And Juno has her peacocks, which she is readily identified with. I tried looking it up in the book. I don't see who Prevail GM is, probably maybe a publisher or something. I'm not really sure. And we have Jupiter in place of the Pope. And he's got his eagle and his lightning bolts. And more. Okay, so here we see in the Lover's card, we have a blindfolded Cupid coming from this direction. And we see a canopied chariot. Canopied with a scallop canopy, rather. And we have Justice looking at us squarely. And we have an unusual looking hermit. He looks like he's a gentleman who's come from far and wide. The wheel, which is turning this way. Interestingly, the hands of the hanged man are not behind his shoulders, but we do see them, you know, in that area, which is kind of interesting. Again, similarly to the hermit, we have a death card with a similar cap on his head and walking in the same direction. If you hear a male voice in the background, it's because I have a very loud husband who is rooms and rooms and rooms away. But you still hear him talking on the phone. Now here, look, we have the frontal facing moon, which is also consistent with TDM1. And notice that. Now I want to look and see if that configuration was in the Hess, or was it in the other video that I showed with the Hess. Let me check. Okay, it was not in the Hess. The Hess did not have that. But I recently just did a video whereby I compared the Hess with the Lando and another deck, and I can't remember what that other deck was, but that other deck had this same configuration, and it's going to make me crazy because I can't remember which one it was. Yes, it was the Piatnik. It was the Piatnik, which I guess Piatnik is a Austrian publishing house, but they're Germanic speaking. So that's interesting. Let's see, we have the angel without the banner, the horn without the banner on Judgment. Such a juicy deck, though. So rich in color. Of course, this deck was published, of course, by Giordano Berti. Synonymous with quality. Quality cardstock. Look how juicy. Oh, man. So in many ways, it seems to me similar to the Lando in its almost abstract, not quite, but almost abstract nature and very, very rich color. Okay, so here, this almost looks like a Swiss, this looks like Swiss influence, you know, when we see other decks, Swiss decks, we see that kind of design on the cups, especially the ace. Look at that. Look how beautiful. Oh my goodness. So Alexandra, thank you for reminding me of the Miller. I know I've done videos on this, but it's been a while. And look at that. There's my boyfriend. Clearly a hat in his hand. You know, there's been debate about what it might have been, but, you know, when this deck was created, this was interpreted as a hat in place, and wearing a wreath in place of his hat. And the chalice is covered. And we see the batons, irregular in the treatment of the center, right? See the moon epaulets on the king of batons. I'm wondering, hold on a second. Is he the same guy in the chariot? This guy is a king. He's got a crown. Could be a king. Same color hair. I don't know. I'm not really sure where I am now. I kind of got confused with the order, but anyway, I just thought some of you might really enjoy looking at this beautiful, beautiful German deck. Besançon in nature with some characteristics of other decks. You see how tarot is a living, breathing thing that evolves as influences are picked up and discarded. But this color is just delicious. I love this deck. It's buried deep in my collection because I guess it just got buried and I haven't used it in a long time, a couple months at least, but well, probably at least over a year, something over a year maybe. But I'm glad I dug it up because now it'll be on the top and I'll reach for it a little more frequently. So here, it's not as luscious a bend or a sound as we get from the Hess. This is just, the Hess is exceptional. It's just exceptional. Let's see how it fares in size. It's a little larger than the Hess. And the cardstock is a little different. But it's still quality. A little too large for my hands to riffle. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Kind of, but it's awkward and it's not very comfortable to do. I'd probably end up shuffling this like this. But, you know, the riffle shuffle is superior in the sense that it mixes the cards much better than overhand shuffling does. So frequently my decks are in order. And so especially when I use them after they've been put in order, I find that overhand shuffling is not really the way to go. It's really best to do this, you know, about 11 shuffles, about 11 riffle shuffles will clear the deck. Yeah, but this is a little harder for me to do. Oh, here are the backs. So if you're looking to round out your collection and you're interested in, you know, having a sample of Besançon or a German deck, this is a great deck to have in your collection because it's just luscious. And I think because of its color and its almost border design in the pips in particular, I think it could really lend itself to some interesting interpretations. Like, look at these cups. Look at how beautiful. Look how beautiful. Anyway, until next time, friends, peace and stay well.